Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bobbie Richardson. I am a messenger and a guide for humanity's consciousness to delve into finding balance again within oneself, connecting to the soul, and then that shifts us into a whole new vibration where we can create what we would perceive from this point of view as utopia on Earth. So there's a lot of things that are happening at the moment with these new energies coming on board. Oh my gosh. What happens is we tend to go through these shadow moments where we're looking at very deeply, and this is the work. The work isn't easy. Like, honestly, I channeled this thing through about training to go on this journey, and it's not an easy journey. I probably should read it out to you. Training for the new earth or higher consciousness isn't anything to do with what you own or what education you have. It's not to do with how many people you love or where you live, as all outside in these new higher energies will fall into place as mere reflections of the inner work you do on yourself. It isn't an easy ride, and it isn't for the faint-hearted, as it is a humbling experience that keeps coming at you till you recognize all aspects of yourself as love. Honesty with self is a must, and forgiveness when one realizes what they have been shadowing from the truth. They are this love. This training has everything to do with your inner dialogue, your ability to learn and let things go that doesn't suit you or your desired outcome. How much support and love you have for yourself, how well you can use your imagination to carve a new path, how well you can hold focus on that path, and truly live in the moment as you write that story. Training begins when you have finally had enough of going in circles trying to change everything from an outside perspective, only to find it all coming back up again and again. Once you ask the question, how do I get myself out of this? Then you are asking to step out of the illusion that you are only a body and circumstances happen to you. That it's not in your control to change anything, which is the illusion of sitting as a victim in a life that you are powerless in. This is when the story starts to show up as hurdles for your mind to look deeply at and see where you gave your power away. It may show up as bigger problems than what you had before, so you don't miss them. But once you learn to overcome, you gain this wealth of information that you can quickly clear anything the next time it comes around. And it isn't about stopping the outside world coming at you. It's more about you no longer want to hold on to creating the problem, but see how fast you can let it go. So you have the space within your mind to feel into your soul's desire, which only comes from love. No longer fighting and fueling the crappy story, but by tuning inwards and seeing why you allowed the story to happen in the first place. What power were you hiding from? What were you in fear of that created this bigger problem in your head? Why did you choose that person to tell you your worth? And so on. Asking these questions of yourself instead of pointing the finger outside yourself will lead you to finding more answers. So this is so incredible, what's happening. What happens after that is you go through this shadow feel, and I've only just gone through a huge one myself where I wanted to push my reality into, I wanted to push my career And I thought if I said what I wanted, even though my mind wasn't ready, I wasn't ready, the world wasn't ready for what I have to deliver. There's only a few people that come into my reality that listen to my messages, because the rest of the world still kept catching up. And there's so many more powerful messages that are going to come through with me. So for me to bring those through, if the world wasn't ready to listen to them, it would be a disaster. And I know that now. But in any case, there was about, I don't know, it was last year sometime, I just went, right, that's it. I want to be on Gaia. And straight after I asked that, even though I wasn't prepared to be bigger, the world wasn't prepared for my messages, the whole thing wasn't going to work, I ended up manifesting pretty much the next day this person who said, he reflected that back, I've got his name is David Thomas, and I'm going to say his name because I don't want anyone else to come into, I don't want anyone else to be sucked in by somebody like that. So I think we need to help each other and be vulnerable enough to say when we've made mistakes, so that we can help others realize, that that's a no-go zone. Don't go there. Don't go next to that person. I'm over it now. I don't have as much emotional attachment to it as what I did when I first started realizing. So this man, David Thomas, he's a producer, and he produced two movies that weren't that great, honestly. They're documentaries that are on Gaia, and they're called Tuning In. That's his production. That's his movies, Tuning In movies. And he interviews channelers like Bashar and who else? Yeah, famous channelers like Bashar and that. And he said that he wanted to do a third movie, and that he wanted to choose somebody that was up and coming. So he sent me this message and said that he'd chosen me, but he was asking for some money. I was at first hesitant. When I read it, I was excited, and then I was like, oh, this sinking feeling happened, which I didn't listen to. And then, so I was to give him some money, and it was quite a few $1,000s. And then he would give me 10% of the earnings of the money of the actual documentary. I looked up Gaia. I found his documentaries. I saw a tiny little picture of him. I said to him, I want to see you on Zoom. Even when I was on Zoom, I got this feeling of he's not with it enough. There's something wrong here. And I didn't listen to that feeling. I am an intuitive, right? I felt that there was something wrong straight up. But I just met my boyfriend, my partner now, and I wanted to prove to him that I'll try anything to get, to where I'm going. And I had such an ego boost of that. He reflected that, me asking, to be on Gaia and all of that sort of stuff. So I ended up signing off on the agreement, and then right at the last minute, I realized I actually pulled back, and I said, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And then he come in with a better offer. And so I went, okay, I'll do that offer. So I ended up sending him the money. And then there was this, dialogue happening, but nothing moving, like dialogue of, yes, it's going to happen. Yes, it's going to happen. And over the next few months, he was just stringing me along, but there was no plan put in place. There was no video or anything happening. He gave excuses after excuses after excuses. And then finally, I'm like, okay, I've got to let go of this shit. This is obviously not happening. And I have to face the fact that I've been taken as a sucker. And I didn't, as a channeler, didn't listen to my intuition. And I suddenly realized, wow, the valuable lesson that I learned there, I get it now. I will never let someone do that to me again. Like if I have a twinge of that feeling that I had with him, absolutely, I'm going to follow through. And I've let people take me, for a sucker before in my life. So yeah, he's not contacted me for couple of months now, a while now. So it's absolutely was a fraud. Yeah, and then I looked on a couple of his YouTubes, and he's had other people that he's, asked for money from the public, and they've given him money to do these things before, and he just uses it for his own self. It's either that or is a fraud of David Thomas himself pretending to be him. But I actually have more of a stronger feeling that it's himself. And if he wants to come on live and have a chat to me about this and tell me that I'm wrong, I'm fine with that. I'm not 100%. And we also have to remember logic's not 100% either. Intuition's not 100% because we allow our ego and our logic to come in and dictate, the scenario that we want. It's like a pipe dream that we're chasing, and it's not the truth. So, but if we were completely clear-minded, and I'm not, but I do have a lot of, when I am in that channeling state, I do feel very clear. I'm very present. And I could say I'm 90% what comes out of my mouth when I'm channeling is the truth. But then if you get any scientist or anything that's, done everything through logic and experiments and all that sort of stuff, even that cannot be 100% the truth. These things can be seen. Even Einstein could be seen that he's made mistakes and so forth. We've got to remember that even if you're a channeler, you're not 100% perfect. And I think that we need to be humbling in ourselves to realize that. That's why I always tell everyone whenever I'm channeling stuff, take the bits out of it that you feel comfortable with, that you feels right for your reality, or that you choose to become your reality, because we are choosing our reality at the same time. But yeah, I wasn't going to bring any of that up, but it's just happened that way, because what happens then when we have this really massive thing happening, I mean, I had that along with the whole cruise debacle, yeah, which didn't go ahead because the law stated that they only allowed 5% without the apple juice, if you get what I mean, on the cruise. And those 5% had to get a notice from their doctors to say that they had a reason for it. And then everyone went on the cruise, had to show that they had taken it. This is in New South Wales too, so I think it's a bit different in New South Wales and Queensland. We rung up, we tried to find out if it was all okay, because when they sent through writing, it was just so much writing, and I'm dyslexic, so it was hard for me to get through all of that and understand. It was all through, had all these different countries and everything and rules and base, and I was just like, whoa, okay, I'll ring them up. So I rang them up, and they said it's all fine, la la la, and as far as we knew, it was all fine. So we flew all the way from Queensland to New South Wales, got there, and then they said, where's your papers? And I said, I don't have any. We rung up, and then they said, well, the physical leaders only allow 5%. which just doesn't even make sense. There's no logic in this, right? Because if they really felt that we were to humanity, and we're talking to everybody with no mask on, nothing, we were just chatting away. Like there's people walking past, they knew I hadn't had the apple juice, so they didn't like put me into a room and go, oh my God. It was just bizarre. It was one of those circumstances, sitting there and going, there's no logic in this, other than a rule, other than some higher person put a rule up and said only 5%, like a punishment or something. No health reasons whatsoever, because there's already 5% of people without the apple juice on the cruise. So they're running around free to do what they want. Any case, we got our money back. They weren't going to give it back, but then they found the phone call that we had, and they ended up giving our money back, but we weren't allowed on because they were punishing us. La, 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 la. But my daughters did get to take the cruise because they're old enough, they're 19 and 17, so they went on the cruise by themselves. They split up a family and all that sort of thing. So had to go through that, but then we needed the money for something else, so it actually worked out in our favor because we needed the money. So that was an easier let go, other than the fact that I really, really, really wanted to take that cruise with my daughters, because when they were little, we took a cruise and they couldn't remember being on a cruise with me, and it was just one of my heart's desires to go on a cruise with my children. Anyway, so that didn't happen. And at the same time as all of that happening, we'd found out that this guy was a fraud. So it was like one slap after another slap for me, huge slaps. And like the first one was more to do with, you can't control everything outside of yourself. And if you're going to go into the system, you have to play by their rules, even though their rules suck and are ridiculous. And the other one was, I didn't follow my intuition because I was too busy trying to push for something that wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. The world's not ready. That's not how my reality is supposed to go. So I understand that now. But the thing is, what happens is when we go through huge shadow things, and this is what I'm really trying to get to, it's like when we clear it, when we let it go, there's this feeling, like we'll go through this absolute tightness of feeling really crap about it. And then you just come to this point of, oh, I let it go. And when you let it go, it's like a space happens within your mind where more of your soul can come through. And when more of your soul is aligned with you, it's like your soul comes in, and then it can see more of your value, more of your self-worth, more of who you're worth. And I now feel more worthy than what I did before through those experiences. I realize my self-worth comes down to how I choose to feel about myself. And when that happens, because your soul's kind of connected to you more, it's like your soul is looking at your reality and then going, okay, this is great. Like I'm in a beautiful home. I'm with a beautiful man. My family's happy. So all of that is fine. But my career and my self-worth around my career, it's not up to the level of the level that I know my soul's supposed to be going towards. It's not there yet. And then I started feeling yucky again, because I'm like almost feeling victim to my circumstances, that it's not there yet. And it's really because my soul is like, okay, we've got to not push it. My soul is like, okay, we got to align with this. We got to align more with our self-worth so that the career thing comes up with it. So it was a huge, oh my God, moment. And then I went, okay, I have to honor and respect myself now, really, really honor and respect who I am. No longer dealing with energies that aren't up to par with me. only doing interviews and stuff like that I feel respected in, and so forth. And so I am then telling the universe what I deserve, or my outside reality, what I deserve. And because of that, I just pulled right back, because I had to readjust how I see me in my world with my work. And so I did. And that's why I gave you guys the message, I'm not doing the Thursday live. I'm going to sit back and just feel into this. And honestly, I was going to go live this morning, and then I just pressed the pre-record button instead. And I didn't even imagine that I was going to come out with this truth to tell you. But I think it feels right. I think I need to come out with this, not only just to say we are allowed to stand up for ourselves, and mention the names that truly that happened. I have documents. I have a signed legal document. Well, he says it was a legal signed document that I could use with his signature and everything, which if this wasn't David Thomas, the real David Thomas, if this was a fraud using his name, he can come on my channel and show me the signature that's his signature, because I have a signature of the person that did that. I have the actual small document. He actually wrote the signature in blue felt or something, but at least it's something, right? And even that went ding, ding, ding. I had all these ding, ding, ding moments. Really, Bobbie, you're going to keep going with this? You're going to keep trusting this guy, even though intuitively it's not kosher? But I wanted it to happen so badly. This is the ego playing games on us. I wanted to be on Gaia so badly. And that's okay. Like, it's okay in the fact that I've made peace in the way that we never lose anything that we're not supposed to happen. If it's lost, we weren't supposed to have it in that moment. If it's a fraud, it's not supposed to happen. So I have to come to that acceptance. In this time, in this moment, all of that is not supposed to happen. But I want to also share with you, so that you can get a grasp on your own reality and how I deal with it. Then maybe you can deal with it. So this is a great this is a great teaching chance to give others, as a guide, how I made a mistake, how I didn't trust my own intuition as a channeler through my own ego, and then how I pick myself up out of it and then carry on. And I also feel a relief, like as I'm telling you guys this, there's this kind of like, oh, okay, I've said it now, it's a relief. And so I can move into, more aligned channelings, even more information coming through, because I have full faith in myself that if anyone like that came up to me again, I would just put on the brakes. But also awareness that there's many people out there want to help, many people that are for real, many people that actually want to help me. I'm not in a reactive mode. I'm just in I recognize that twinge of my intuition kicking in and trying to tell me. And there wasn't just one indicator, there was a few indicators. So, I could have said at any time no. And I did say no right at the very end, but then he gave me a better offer. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that offer. Yeah, sucker. But okay that we are human and we are learning and we are moving into higher vibrations, and those people can't come with us and those circumstances can't come with us, so we have to be able to capture them. And I don't have any real anger around it. it was more the anger within myself of allowing myself to fall for that. And then when you start to accept it as the lesson, the anger falls away so that you don't have to be concerned. Anyway, so that's my story for today. And yeah, I hope it helps you if you're in a circumstance that you feel vulnerable in, or that you've made the wrong decision, or it's showed you up to the outside world. Remember, it's showing you up so that you can take more power back. And I feel way more in line with my intuition when it comes to people. And I'm also not going to push for something to happen again. I'm going to trust that the alignment of my messages will reach the right people at the right time, and that's enough. So anyway, guys, love you heaps. Bye.